Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, we will be discussing the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The devotees, they were celebrating Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's birthday. So, we are reading that chapter. And while talking, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, the renunciation of lust and gold is for sannyasins. This is the uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna. He never imposed anything which is not supposed to be or is not possible to be practiced by a group of people. So, if we notice every time he is making two different practices very categorically for two different type of people. One, that is the sannyasins, another the lay devotees, householders. Now, here of course, that time there no sannyasins were there, but Vivekananda, Brahman, all these young people were there who were supposed to be sannyas. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna knew that they will be sannyasin afterwards. But whatever it may be, in general, he is telling like this very clearly, categorically, the renunciation of lust and gold is for sannyasins. It is not for you. He was addressing the householder devotees. Now, what they should do? He is telling, now and then you should go into solitude and call on God with a yearning heart. Now and then. So, when we are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are learning from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna how to realize God, the God himself is teaching us how to realize God, how to go back to him, how to go back to the source. So, he is telling now and then, not that regularly or constantly, sometimes when you are free, go to the solitude and call on God. Why we should go to the solitude? To call on God, not for just spending some time with the friends and the whole family, not like that. Either me alone or maybe very close friend or those who are thinking in the same way, they can go together and can spend some time in the solitude only thinking about God. So, when you are entering into a holy place, I can remember then when we were young, our friends, we used to go to some holy place. Then the moment we will be at the gate, then someone will say among us, now we are entering into the temple premises and we should not say anything except about God. So, somebody will say about whatever he has read and he has heard, like that constantly. When we are coming out of that, then again we will be talking about the other things. So, when we go to the solitude, then we should talk only about God, meditate only about God, think only about God, read only about God. By that way, the mind should be tuned. He is telling this for the householders. Now and then, occasionally they should go. And he is adding yearning heart, that you are call on God with an yearning heart. That means genuinely, not mechanically. And when we are thinking that we are losing something and we are in wilderness, I do not know where to go, that fear will come, the longing will come. God, you are the only one who can save me, that type of longing. So, he is moving, going, not liking but that way the company or the food or any other thing. So, that is the longing, at least for a few hours, at least for a day. That gives a great impetus, great advancement. Your renunciation should be mental. your renunciation. Renunciation of what? The sannyasins, they are renouncing physically and also mentally. They are supposed to. And the householders, detachment. Not that they are leaving the hearth and home, they are living with all their relatives, all their friends in the family, but at the same time, very detached way. Why? They should always know, they should remember, these are all temporary. I was not knowing them a few years before. And when I close my eyes, when I die, I won't know where they will be. This is obvious. Obviously, I am not going to be attached. I lived with them, I liked them, they also liked our company and my company, and whatever the responsibility I was given, I have already performed. Like this, the householders, unless a devotee is of the heroic type, he cannot pay attention to both God and the world. If the heroic type means, and there is a process, temptation, all the objects of the temptation will be in your front, but you are not going to touch it. That's called heroic type. Let there be whatever you like to give, it's okay, but I am not going to touch it. The tremendous mental strength is necessary for that. A little sympathy and little weakness, immediately that everything will be ruined. So that is why one should be very, very careful. Friends, we are talking about the practice of religion. Sometimes we talk about the theory. Just like the professors, they are talking about the Advaita Vedanta or the Gaudapada, his opinion. So that is all theories. It is good to know. But at the same time, if I am genuine, I am sincere, I like to realize God, then I should choose where I am standing and where I should start. And there I must be very, very careful, because I know my capacity. If I am not strong in science, and if I try to study the scientific things, some subjects, I won't get the interest into that and get any good result. Unnecessarily, not only the money, but the energy and the time will be wasted. After 5 years also, I am nowhere, again go back. So that wastage should not be there. Now I am here and I should try to start from here. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna is very, very practical. And human life is very short, we do not know what is going to happen when. So every day, every moment should be utilized. That's why he is telling, unless a devotee is of a heroic type, he cannot pay attention to both God and the world. In the world, there is a duty, the responsibility, at the same time, a lot of clappings, the name, the fame, and people will be praising you, society will acknowledge you, and naturally ego will grow up. And when you are thinking that these are the things I have done, people should remember it, you are attached to that. In reality, that Sri Ramakrishna will come to that, then the next, he will teach us about the reality. So the God and this world, God is the creator and this world is his creation. How he has created? Completely imagination. But it is such a wonderful magic that we are living lives after lives and we are thinking this is real. That's a God's magic. It's very powerful. So obviously it is very difficult to break it. And we are thinking, no, this is all real. That's why God and the world. And when a heroic person say, this world is nothing but God, so there's no problem. As Swami Vivekananda, for him, as Sister Nivedita mentioned, this world and also the Brahman or God are the same. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also said that same thing. If you can see God by closing your eyes, can't you see God with your open eyes? Why not? It's the same thing. When you see the waves, can't you see the ocean? Are the ocean and the waves are different? This thing. But when we reach to that is the highest, the acme of the spiritual life, as they say. It is so easy to say, it is easy to write or listen, but it is very, very difficult to practice. So he is mentioning, the master is singing about the King Janaka lived a householder's life only after attaining perfection through austerity and prayer. We come across this name, the Janaka. The Janaka was the king, and this Janaka, to whom the great scholars used to come, the Munis used to come to listen about the Brahma Jnana. This is the same Janaka. So he was always knowing that this world is nothing, but at the same time, he used to, as a king, the administration was there. So all those things he used to do. Different type of problems. In a human society, problems are always there. As I was today coming back, I was talking with some of the devotees, and we remembered that when the Bharata came back from his maternal uncle's house, and naturally Ram's mother, the Kaushalya, she was not very happy, though she used to love Bharata more than Rama. And the Bharata also used to love her more than his own mother, Kaikeyi. Now the situation changed. The Rama has gone into exile. Bharata has come back. And Kaushalya is thinking it is all Bharata's plan. That's why he won't be able to fight with Rama. So he has arranged in such a way that the Rama has gone and he has come back. Now he will be ruling, he will be the king. The father is also dead. Now she said sarcastically, Bharata, have you come back? Good. Now you can rule without any difficulty. This you wanted, isn't it? Bharata started crying. Mother, you should not say like this. You know, I never ever thought that I will be the king without Sri Ramachandra. No. Then he started promising, if you don't believe my words, then I am taking the oath. If I am telling the lies, if I had anything in this plot that my mother planned by mistake, which I never liked, then he is giving, let the scene that comes after killing the woman or a child or an elderly person, defenseless people. So if you kill a defenseless person, then the scene that incurs, let that fall on me. There he was telling the sin that usually people incur by not paying the salary to those people through whom he has done the work. That means not paying proper salary to the staff or the laborers. It was there at the time of Sri Ramachandra, at the time of Ramayana. Can you imagine? People are always greedy. They always think that if I can save some money without paying, which I am supposed to pay to that worker, so that is also a sin, and that was there at the time of Ramachandra also. So when you talk about the Ram Rajatya, that means what? All this was there. But one should be careful about it, and not that at that time there was no sin, only at this time there are all these things are there, nothing like that. All bad works were there, thoughts were there, sins were there, and good things were also there. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling you should be brave enough as a king you must be just. At the same time you know that these are all nothing. This is why I always say the practice of the Ramakrishna mission Swamis, the spiritual practice, is very hard. Apparently they are living in the houses, and in particularly in India if you go, as the society at the time could not provide, still now they need. So Swami Vivekananda introduced the sannyasins to serve the society, and to serve the society we are giving education. So orphanages is there, schools are there, colleges, then polytechnic, university, hospitals, dispensaries, and one Swami will be there, the administrator. So obviously when you are an administrator, when you are giving a signature, somebody will get the job. When you are signing, somebody is fired. All these things are there. But at the same time, 24 hours you have to remember that you are a sannyasi. 24 hours you have to remember. I am only doing the God's job. I don't have anything. And if you fail in that, your sadhana will mar. You won't be getting the good result out of that sadhana. So this is a very difficult sadhana. Living under a tree and eating out, just begging, is all easy. But here you are getting all comforts, all food, clothing and every support. But at the same time, if you are sincere to realize God, you have to remember. So this is called heroic. The last and goal, last and lucre, nothing should be there. At the same time, you are handling the millions of dollars. So that is the way you are completely detached. That is what Sri Ramakrishna said, and he was singing. And there he said, Janaka's might was unsurpassed. What did he lack of the world or the spirit? He is in that song it is there, Ei Sangshar Majar Kuti. It's a Bengali song. Here they have translated. For you means the householder devotees. He was addressing a particular person. For you, as Chaitanya said, the disciplines to be practiced are kindness to living beings, Jive Daya in Bengali, kindness to living beings, service to the devotees, Vaishnav Seva, and chanting the name of God, Krishna Nam. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested. Sri Ramakrishna is also suggesting the same thing. Three things the householder devotees should practice. First is kindness, the feeling of kindness to the living beings, and service to the holy people, good people. Those who are doing good, thinking good, you must support them. And that way you are also doing good. Maybe physically you cannot go, but at least you are supporting mentally or with some money or some way. That is also the support, and then chanting the name of God. This is the easiest way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested. By practicing these three, one can purify the mind and can realize God. To Shurendra. And this portion, few lines are very important. Why do I say all this to you? Shurendra was a big officer. He used to work in an office and was earning a good amount, but in the office he used to tell lies. What to do? Sometimes it is necessary. So why do I say all this to you? You work in a merchant's office. I say this to you because you have many duties to perform there. You tell lies at the office. Sri Ramakrishna knew all this. You tell lies in the office. The merchant, naturally you have to say like that. Then why do I eat the food you offer to me? Sri Ramakrishna never could eat that. He was the personification of the Sattvika. So that is the reason, if anybody is thinking something wrong, something bad, saying something, once it so happened that his very favorite, Rakhal Maharaj, afterwards great Swami Brahmananda, he said something to his friend just jokingly, which was not truth. Friends sometimes they say, hey, where you are going? No, I am going somewhere. Something he said. It is not mentioned. Then he came to Sri Ramakrishna immediately. Not that he came and discussed about that. He could read the mind. The moment he entered, immediately Sri Ramakrishna said, I cannot look at your face. Some mistake you must have done, something wrong you must have done. Then he was thinking, what wrong? From the morning, nothing I did. Then he said, he understood, that I told my friend that this only, just jokingly, that even jokingly you should not tell lies. That is Sri Ramakrishna. In the spiritual life, truth. You should not tell lies, even jokingly. You can do that, but you cannot go to Sri Ramakrishna. The Sri Ramakrishna, and that Sri Ramakrishna is telling to his devotee, Surendra, that you tell lies, I know, still I accept your gift, your food. Why? The reason he is telling, because you give your money in charity. This charity, dhanam, that makes a mind pure. Sometimes some people, they'll be doing this charity, after they'll misuse some methods and then they will swindle the money, and little portion they will give to charity and they'll think, oh, we are free from that sin. Wrong. Not that. Now, next line. Because you give your money in charity, you give away more than you earn. That is the point. So many of the people, and particularly I have noticed in India, I don't know in this country, but India, there are people, they'll be earning money by cheating people, and then a little portion they will give to the temple, and that too you make a big plug for that. He has given this much money, or to an orphanage, or to this, that, and they think, I have given that money for the good cause, and whatever the sin that I have incurred, now everything crossed, I am clean. Nothing like that. So we have to read every line of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna very carefully. And here he is telling, I know that you tell lies, but still I accept your gift. Because you give money in charity, then he is telling, you give away more than you earn. I cannot eat anything offered by miserly people. Their wealth is squandered in these ways. First, litigation. Second, thieves and robbers. Third, physicians. Fourth, their wicked children. It is like that. Your giving money away in charity is very good. I was reading in some the Sanskrit the slokas. In childhood days, there were a lot of this type of slokas, just to make the children, they will remember it, then afterwards they will understand the meaning. And in our childhood days, they used to tell this type of thing. Paropo karanam yesham jagarti hridaye satam. So constantly, if you are thinking for the betterment of others, Paropa yesham jagarti hridaye satam, when you are thinking about the goodness of others and for the betterment of others, Nashyanti bipado tesham, he will never be in difficulty, that person. Sampada su pade pade, and he will be awarded in every steps of his life. So this is the way it says that about the dhanam. Yajna, dana, tapa, karma, natejyam, karyameva tat. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, in answer to Arjuna's question, he is telling, at least these 4 karma you should not give up. Yajna, action for the betterment of others, yajna. Dana, charity. Tapa, austerity. And yajna, dana, tapa, karma. These 3. These 3 actions you should not give up. Because only through this type of action and this type of work, one's mind become purified. Why he is giving so much of stress on the charity? He never used to accept anything from anyone. But still then he is telling this. In the Islam religion also zakat. In Christianity the donation and the charity. In Buddhism also. There's because you have earned this money, and now out of love and not for any other thing, you are giving away that money. That means your love for others, it is generating. The more you think about the others, more you feel for the others, more you sacrifice for the others, your mind become purified. Why? The ego will go. The ego is the main problem. And when you can do that, obviously ego will go away. But charity or the donation with ego has no result. Of course, the poor people will be benefited, but the donor won't get any spiritual benefit by that way. So Sri Ramakrishna is clarifying that your giving money away in charity is very good. Those who have money should give in charity. Here in Chicago, that happened with Swami Vivekananda. And the one very rich man came, and naturally he was boasting up, and his friend was introducing. In America, the rich person naturally. Then the Swamiji told, do you give in charity some of your money? Why should I? I earn with utilizing my brain, my energy, and why should I give it to those who are not working for this? Then Swamiji told, you are supposed to give. Then that discussion is all, I don't know, but obviously he spoke in the line of this, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, if you are not giving in charity, God has given you this gift that you are more intelligent than others, capable than others. Utilizing that, you are earning money. But if you are not helping the creation of God, they are also created by God. But if you are not helping them, the God will be angry. He may take back the gift. Then what will happen to you? After a few days, the gentleman came and he said, Rockefeller, he came and showed the receipt. He has given a good amount to a church. Here, now you can thank me, Rockefeller said to Swamiji. And immediately Swamiji said, hey, you should thank me because I have saved you from the hell. That jokingly he said. So this is the way the charity. Sri Ramakrishna is telling that he spent it for a righteous purpose. At Kamarpukur, I have seen the farmers cutting channels to irrigate their fields. Sometimes the water rushes in with such a force that the ridges around the field are washed away and the naturally destroyed. For this reason, the farmers make hole here and there in the ridges. Since the water escape through the holes, the ridges are not destroyed by such a rush of water. The devotees listen with great attention to Sri Ramakrishna's words. Surendra, I cannot meditate well. I repeat the Divine Mother's name now and then. Lying in bed, I repeat her name and fall asleep. Sri Ramakrishna, that is enough. You remember her, don't you? So this is very, if I have the faith in God, sufficient. Not that 24 hours I should remember. If one can do it, it's good. That is the ultimate. But for the householders, they have so much of other work, other responsibilities. So naturally the social and the family and many other. If they can remember God at least when they are going to bed or in the early morning or in between when they are working, that is sufficient. And many of the times this happened. There's a beautiful story about the Narada. The Narada, he told the Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, I think I am your best devotee. Vishnu told, how come? I take your name all the time, 24 hours. So obviously, I am your best devotee. No one in this world will take your name like me. The Vishnu told, okay, that we will finalize, we'll see. Can you please go and see that farmer who is working over there in that field and live with him for some time, and whatever he asks you to do and do. He went and saw that farmer is working right from the morning and up to the night, and he is doing so many works because he has to pay taxes and he has to save some money for the future and he has to spend some money for his family. And after that only, when he is going back to bed, he is telling the name of Lord, 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 please help me, please save me, I am yours, like that, and then he will fill us up. Vishnu came back laughing. You said he is a great devotee. Whole day he couldn't remember you. He was only at the time of going to bed remembered. Then the Lord said, Narada, can you please do something for me? Take this bowl full of oil up to the brim. Go this round, come back to me, but notice that not a single drop should spill. You should be very, very careful when you are walking. Take it in your hand and go. So Narada took that and he went, and every step he was careful, and the oil was full to the brim of that container, and one drop should not fall. And he came back and he said to the Lord, now here, not a single drop fell. Then the Lord asked, how many times you remembered me and took my name? Remembering you and taking your name, is that possible? Whole attention was there, and look at that man. His whole attention was into the family because he is a family man, and naturally his responsibility, even then he never forgot to take my name in the night, and you forgot. Then who is the great devotee? So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that this is only you take one. I cannot meditate well, then the master, that is enough. You remember her, don't you? Ma Sharadamani Devi, I have kept over here on my table, and she is mentioning in Bengali, Thakurer naam ki chattikhani kotha, je omni jabe. So someone said that we cannot meditate like that. Ma Sharadamani Devi then said, you take the name of Sri Ramakrishna, right? And do you think that is an ordinary thing? Just remember Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Take his name, that will be sufficient. This is the faith. And when the personalities like Ma Sharadamani Devi are telling, that means it is the truth. So the complete faith on those words is sufficient. Now and then just remember God, and God, I am trying to remember you, but I am very weak. And this Maya, this world is constantly dragging me, and I cannot control. Now you should not forget me. You should not forget. The Rabindranath Tagore in one of his songs is telling, if I forget you, O Lord, and close my door, please don't go back. Break the door and come in, because I love you. But maybe for some reason, attractions to the world that you have kept me, I may forget. Jodio amar hriday duar বন্ধ রাহে কভু, দ্বার ভেঙে তুমি এসো মোর প্রাণে, ফিরিয়া যেও না প্রভু. So this Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us. There are two kinds of yoga, Mano yoga, Karma yoga. To perform following the Guru's instructions, such pious act as worship, pilgrimage and service to living being is called Karma yoga. I read again. To perform following the Guru's instructions, such pious act as worship, pilgrimage and service to living beings is called Karma yoga. The duties that Janaka performed are also called Karma yoga. The meditation and contemplation of the yoga is called Mano yoga. One is physically that we are doing, another and through mind. Mano yoga, the contemplation and meditation. Withdrawing the mind, all our sense organs from the sense objects, and then pointing it, concentrating it on the object of meditation, Mano yoga. And we are sitting still, body is not moving, only through the mind. And the Karma yoga, visiting the holy places, helping the living beings, and also the worshipping, doing all the good work. So that is called Karma yoga and Mano yoga. Sometimes, particularly those the students of philosophy, they know that the Shankaracharya, he very clearly mentions through the karma only your mind will be purified, and you cannot directly realize that knowledge of Brahman. So you have to accept the Jnana yoga. Jnana means understanding. It is true. But the karma, what Shankara mentioned, with some interest, the karma that they used to do at those times, performing the yajnas, maybe to go to heaven, or those who were not having the children for that, or many other purposes. Mantra Shakti that was there, and they used to do that, and it became so popular, the Shankaracharya had to say, all those things that you are doing will take you to particular object, particular success, but you are not going to get the ultimate knowledge of the Brahman. But Swami Vivekananda and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, what they are introducing is completely different. And our Sri Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he himself is telling in the Karma yoga, any work that you are performing, and if you are doing it for the purpose of God, for the love of God, without expecting any result out of it, result means the worldly benefits, that is Karma yoga, that is sufficient to purify your mind. And what is that purification of the mind? Lessening the ego or eradicating the ego completely. Immediately you will find that God. So God is there, I am here. In between there is a wall, we can say sometimes when it is very strong, there is ego. Or sometimes just small cover, remove it, immediately you can see that. So removing the ego, but not the self-confidence. Self-confidence is completely different than the ego. So here it is telling like this. So Mano yoga and Karma yoga. Sometimes I say to myself in the Kali temple, O Mother, the mind is nothing but yourself. Therefore, pure mind, pure buddhi and pure Atman are one and the same thing. Pure mind. Now he is using the word pure. What does it mean by pure? Where there is no desire. Purity is nothing but desire-free condition. When there is a desire, there is ego, and the ego means impurity. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that to the mother, my divine mother, as because the mind is nothing but yourself. See, this is Vedanta. Nothing in this world can be without that Brahman, that purity. We are only unnecessarily superimposing something on that and thinking in a different way. There was a rope. I superimposed a snake on that, and I am afraid of that. In reality, there was no snake. I superimposed. It is my ignorance. And then I am afraid. I am calling for help. Is it not funny? So in this world also, constantly we are thinking somebody is going to beat me or kill me. All my mind's creation. I am creating my world. And who is suffering? Me. So to go out of it, who can help? Your own mind, your own thought, and nothing else. So doctors are helping. This type of patients are there. The mental agonies, mental problems are there. Unnecessarily they are thinking. It is very difficult to come out of that because it is their own thinking, their own imagination. And who can help? That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, very clearly it mentioned, Urdharet Atmana Atmanam, na Atma Vasadayet. Atmaiva Atmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripu Atmana. A great the teaching. The I should help myself. No one can help me in this world. Each and every one around us only try to inspire us, guide us, and nothing else. So that's why it is telling, therefore the pure mind, pure buddhi and the pure Atman are one and the same thing. Pure mind, mana, buddhi and the Atman. It was about dusk. Many of the devotees saluted Sri Ramakrishna and started to go home. The master went to the west porch, Bhavanath and Aim were with him. So they are talking. Master to Bhavanath, why do you come here so seldom? Bhavanath smiling, Sir, I visit you once in a fortnight. I saw you in the street the other day, so I didn't come here. Why, naturally, Master, what do you mean? What can you gain by mere seeing? Touch and talk are also necessary. So when the holy company doesn't mean from distance one should see, touch and talk. So Sri Ramakrishna was preparing the minds of the young people. So he wanted them to come frequently and talk to them. And they should also practice. That way only it is possible. So friends, then their Master Masha is giving the descriptions that the evening is approaching and Sri Ramakrishna was singing. Then the Girish came. As Sri Ramakrishna looked at Girish, his ecstatic fervor became more intense. The Girish, he was an embodiment of faith. That's why the Sri Ramakrishna's mind went in trance. I have surrendered my soul at the fearless feet of the Mother. Am I afraid of death anymore? There is also that we call it Kali Kirtan. Kirtan, the song for the Kali. As that also the Krishna Kirtan is there. Kirtan is for the Lord Krishna. And same way the Kali is also there. Sri Ramakrishna. It mentions, I have already surrendered my soul at the fearless feet of the Mother. So I am not afraid of death. What is death? It is cessation of the thought and nothing else. Everything will be there. But the body, that will perish because the thought is over, and obviously that the same mind will go and take another form. It may or it may not, as because Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, I have surrendered to the God, I have merged with the Mother, I have merged with the Supreme. So Then why should I be afraid? Looking at Girish and him, he said, divine fervor fills my body and robs me of consciousness. The out of consciousness. Consciousness means they are there, devotees are there. Sri Ramakrishna used to like to talk, but his mind goes into that deep meditation. This is the difference between Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and ordinary people. Sri Ramakrishna's mind naturally used to go into that consciousness, whereas millions of us, ordinary people, we are trying our best for years together only to develop concentration, because our attractions for the worldly things, our desires are so heavy, we cannot release the mind and can float to that consciousness. This is the difficulty. When our desires are there, this problem. And when we are thinking, friends, we must be very, very careful. Sometimes we try to meditate and then we start imagining things. Oh, I saw the light, heard some sound. Don't bother about that. If you are practicing meditation, be careful and always follow the words of the Guru. The best thing is to take the name of the Lord constantly, where your mind will not think any other else. Try to stop other thoughts with the forceful flow of God's name. That will help you. So this is the way he is telling. Bhakti, love of God, is the only essential thing. One kind of bhakti has a motive behind it. Again, there is a motiveless love, pure devotion, a love of God that seeks no return. Keshav Sen and the members of the Brahma Samaj didn't know about the motiveless love. In this love, there is no desire. It is nothing but pure love for the lotus feet of God. The pure love, the motiveless love, that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. Then here also, then when Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning about that one needs to know the reality of Brahman. This one line is very, very important. Sri Ramakrishna is talking about the bhakti, but at the same time he mentioned these. Here consciousness means consciousness of the outer world. One needs the knowledge of reality and Brahman. Just now we read that Sri Ramakrishna mentioned to Girish and M. M means the Master Mahasaya, the recorder of this conversation. The divine fervor fills my body and robs me of my consciousness. Then he said, here consciousness means the consciousness of the outer world. One needs the consciousness, and consciousness is Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna is so perfect. Suppose he stopped over there, then maybe there was opportunity for the people afterwards to explain, how could you say that consciousness is robbed up? If the consciousness is not there, then what remains? It is only consciousness that is called Brahman, all-pervading consciousness. That's why he is telling one needs the knowledge of reality and Brahman, and that is Vedanta. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is nothing but that Vedantic person. Omkara Vedya Purusha Purana. About the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, this is a beautiful stotra. Omkara Vedya. The he who can be realized through Omkara. What is that Omkara? Is meditation or the Brahman with the word. That one should understand that Brahman through this Omkara, Omkara Vedya. So to realize the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, to understand Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna should realize Brahman. Because indirectly it is Brahman who has taken the human form as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And when he mentioned one needs the knowledge of reality and Brahman. Are they two different things? Friends, let me say from here, in September 12, 2019, in this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, when we were reading, the page was English page 582, there also Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was mentioning about the real nature. What is the real nature? Pure Atman is our real nature. We read that. Pure Atman is our real nature. He never mentioned only Atman. He mentioned pure Atman. Now, what is reality? Pure Atman. And what is this pure? Because in this stage, the gunas or the qualities are not manifested. Purity, impurity. What is that purity? Where there is no action. How it is possible? Because there is no desire. When desires are not there, so there is no action. When there is no action, so the sattva, raja, tama, these three qualities which are famous as gunas, the Vedantin, the Hindus always talk about the gunas. And these gunas are in equilibrium. When it is in equilibrium, there is no action. So this way, what is the action? When action begins? When there is a desire. Desire is like the wind that creates waves and the ripples on the water. It was pure Brahman, absolute Brahman, absolute consciousness, all-pervading consciousness. Suddenly, as if, we are using the word as if, we do not know. A desire rose in the mind of that consciousness. Ekaham bahushyamavihi. I am alone, I like to be many. Desire. The moment the desire came, immediately it started taking shape. How? With the combination and permutation of sattva, raja and tama. These three qualities again and again mixing in different ways created. So pure reality, pure consciousness, pure Atman. When that is not there, it is Paramatma or pure Atma. Again, individual self is also known as the self or Atman, but it is the reflection of the Paramatma. It is the pure Atma. And what is Brahman? So what is the reality? That we are Atman, pure Atman. And that is the reality. Sri Ramakrishna said, one must know the reality. This is the reality. I am not so and so. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not belong to this family or country or religion or this any linguistic group. I am Atman. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That is the Atman. That is called the reality. And what is then Brahman? Here about the Brahman it says, in the Mahanirban Tantra, I am quoting from there, it says, Yato Bisham Samudbhutam Ena Yatancha Tishtati Yasmin Sarvani Liyante Giyam Tad Brahma Lakshanaihi. He never said it is Brahman. The moment you conclude that this is Brahman, this is Hinduism. They will never give you opportunity to create any question, doubt, no. Lakshan, this is the symbol of the Brahman. You cannot say this is Brahman. You cannot say this is God. The moment you say that this is God and conclude about that, it is blasphemy. It is going against God. You cannot limit the God in that way. Some people they will say, oh, God only eats this type of food and not that type of food. God looks like this and not that. God's name is this and not that. God can be realized through this path and not that. Blasphemy. They're against God. God is all powerful. They can say, well, I like it. No problem. So sampradaya means a clan, a group of people. They like to follow that path, that particular way, teaching. No problem. But should not criticize the others who are not following that. Maybe they are following something else. So here it says, Yato Bhisham Samudbhutam. Know that as Brahman from which this universe has been created. Samudbhuta, created, on which it is resting. Ena yatancha tishtati. Yasmin sarvani liyante, and into which it will merge. So that is, it will dissolve as if. That means everything. So that everything is nothing but Brahman. So what is Brahman? Everything. Everything has been created out of that. Everything is sustaining on that. And then everything will merge into that. So that is called Brahman. Shiva Samhita again, it says, it is introducing the Brahman. How? Parichhedo yato nasti desha kala sarupatah atmana sarvata tasmat atma purnena bhavet kila. Shiva Samhita is giving the idea, Brahman is that which has no limit. Parichhedo, the limit. Ma Kali is nothing but the Brahman. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said in some other place, whom you call Brahman, I call that as Ma Kali, mother. Why? No parichheda. If you have seen the photo or the image of Ma Kali, there is no cloth. Why? Because she is everywhere. This Hinduism is mostly symbolic. The great idea presenting before you with a symbol. And if you don't understand that symbol, then it is really very unfortunate. The goddess Kali everywhere. That's why there is no cloth. How you can go and wrap the all-pervading consciousness? It is dark color. Why dark color? Because we don't know about it. So, parichhedo yato nasti desha kala sarupatah. It is infinite, eternal and all-pervading. In it, it cannot be defined if it is beyond time, as because it is beyond time, space and causation. Then how could you give it a name Brahman? That is called Atmana sarvata tasmat atma purnena bhavet kilaha. The reality is it is there, asti iti. They always say, how can you say that the Brahman is there? It is it, asti, asti, asti. Asti iti, it is there. I can feel. Whether I am here, that you need not to say, it is already, I can feel that I am here, asti iti. And to mention about it or to teach about it, the knowers of the Brahman referred it as Rita, Atma, Parabrahma, Satya, etc. These are the words they have used. Because I am not quoting that particular words, because time is also short, because you have to introduce that one. And we the human being cannot understand if there is no name or form. So something you must have to say about it. Only when you are realizing it yourself, then only you know about it. Otherwise, some of the names have been given. What type of name? Rita. Rita and Satya. It is also almost the same. It is Atma. It is Param Brahma. It is Satya. Like this it is telling. Yoga Vasishta, it says, Rita Atma Param Brahma Satyam Ittadika Budoi Kalpita Vyavahar Artham Tasya Sangha Mahatmana. So friends, this is what the Sri Ramakrishna mentioned. The one should know the reality and Brahman. What is the reality? That we are that supreme Brahman, Param Atma. That is the reality. Though at this moment we cannot understand about it, but we are. That is the reality. That is the Satya. That is the truth. And what is Brahman? This is the Brahman. As because it is all pervading, so the rishis in the Yoga Vasishta says has given some names, and these names are Rita, Atma, Parabrahma, Satya. But it is all pervading consciousness. So today up to this, and we will read. That's why I have given the name the Panchama Veda, because it is always knowledge, and knowledge of the higher spirituality. So this Panchama Veda we will study after next Wednesday again. And about I will announce one or two things afterwards, and let me see if there is any question.
Sanita Banerjee is asking the first question. She is asking, how should we recover ourselves when we feel mentally tired, in brackets weak sometimes?
Samhita, it is sometimes. You have mentioned that you are feeling tired mentally sometimes. It doesn't matter. That there are a lot of other times are also there. So try to recover. Sometimes when you are tired, forget about it, take rest, and then remember those things, or remember the very good thing that happened in your life. And then once again your mind will be, mind always goes like the wave. Sometimes it is going up, sometimes it is going down. And if you have read the Vivekananda's words, he said the more it goes down, more there is chances to go up. So don't give up hope. And spiritual life means constant practices. Don't give up the practices and you'll be successful.
Vishwarup Ghosh is asking, samsara is almost full of desires, so how to live with unwanted circumstances and how to overcome the desires? How do you chant mantra so melodious way?
So this is another different type of situations are there in the samsara. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said it's very difficult. So go to a secluded place now and then, whenever you are getting an opportunity. That as we read, and many times he said the same thing, detach yourself from that particular situation and go to a secluded place, maybe all alone, and quietly think about God, pray to God with your earning. Then slowly, because the God is the Kapal Mochan, as in Bengali they say, He is the doer of everything. When sincerely we are praying, all our problems will be removed and the path will be easy to go over there. Thank you.
Srima Viswas is asking, what is the difference between ego and self-respect?
Self-respect, of course, it is there. That is, it is not, the self-respect is not the ego, but the self-confidence. Ego is completely a different thing. Ego is mixed with the jealousy and all other bad qualities. You know, I always say like this, when someone is telling, I only can do it, I repeat the word only, that is ego. And when you say, I too can do it, T-O-O, that is self-confidence and that is self-respect. I can do it. So you need not to constantly tell the same thing, that if you are not having the confidence on me, that is all self-respect. The self-respect is good, but ego is not.
Shukon is asking the next question. How is it possible to keep our mind constant towards God when we live with our family, doing all our work for our sansar?
This is a very good question. You know that everything is nothing but God, as we are reading again and again, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also mentioned. So when you are suppose working for that family, if you think that this is nothing but the God I am serving, that will be sufficient. So suppose you are cooking, instead of thinking that it will be my father will eat, mother will eat, or uncle will eat, think that God will take that. That much. When you are cleaning the floor or you are doing some other things, just think that I am doing it for God, I am doing it for God. By that way also it is possible. So, thank you then. So, let us chant this mantra, offer our pranam to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Friends, this coming 24th, Sunday, that 24th at about 10:30 to 12:30 there will be our Guru Purnima retreat. So I have invited 4 Swamis from 4 different countries, and they are our Ramakrishna Mission Swamis. So they will be speaking from different angle of the Guru. So one from the point of view of the what's called the Buddhist and Jain and the Sikh, the Hindu, then the Vedantic conception of Guru. So it will be very interesting. So those who are having their emails with us will get the Zoom link. Today night we will send, and again we will repeat. And if you send me your email address, I will add in our Google group, and obviously you will get our link. And not only this one, in future also all the flyers, all the program you will receive. And our email address is very simple: info, INA4, at Chicago Vedanta, Vedanta with the V, VENDA, Vedanta, Chicago Vedanta.org. Thank you, friends. At 25th away, or 24th.